Hello and welcome to the classroom chat on Study with Sudhir. My name is T.S. Sudhir. Now, all of June, nearly 3 lakh students of the ICSE and the ISC boards were riveted to the legal proceedings taking place in the Bombay High Court and briefly at the Supreme Court as well. This was because of a public interest litigation which was filed by Mr. Arvind Tiwari, a lawyer and also a parent of an ICSE Class 10 student in the Bombay High Court, and he demanded, among other things, the cancellation of the ICSE Class 10 examinations in light of the coronavirus pandemic. Arvind Tiwari is my guest on the classroom chat. He joins me live from Mumbai. Mr. Tiwari, thank you very much for being my guest.
Good afternoon, Sudhirji. I'm so glad that you have invited me for this chat, and I've been seeing your videos all this whole month. Every video that you have been uploading was forwarded to me. And I used to be so riveted on the part, and I was always thinking that someday I will ask you, what was your source? Because it was so accurate and so up to date. So I would commend you and your videos used to be so crisp and clear about the message. And I'm like, it was so, I was so grateful because a lot of explanations that I was forced to do with other people passing on the messages used to be transferred so clearly through your videos.
All I would say, Arvind Tiwari, is that my source was very good. So I will leave it at that. So for those of you who are not familiar with Arvind Tiwari's background, he's of course a lawyer. As I said, he's also the parent of an ICSE Class 10 student studying in Mumbai. He's also a politician and he's involved with the NCP in Maharashtra, though not very active these days, he tells me. And he's also been a former junior volleyball player who has represented Maharashtra. So a man who wears several hats and several jerseys, if I may say. Do you get time to play volleyball these days, Arvindji?
No, 1989, unfortunately, due to certain reasons which happened in the volleyball, I quit with anger. So after that, I never went back to the game. So there was another story on that, but I quit then. After that, I never got time. Though my friends are still in touch, we keep speaking. Many friends of mine went on to play for India today, and they have been former internationals. And I was very fortunate, I used to, those days I used to practice with even Dhanraj Pillai. So Dhanraj Pillai used to practice for hockey, and I used to practice for volleyball. Then we had a tennis court next door, and Balwinder Singh Sandhu used to practice cricket, tennis there. Right. Then we used Mayur Tavade, prominent badminton player, Uday Pawar, prominent badminton player. They used to be
you have brushed shoulders with a lot of sporting legends. Probably that's where your fighting spirit also comes from. Is that the way you look at it?
Yes, quite. Sports has been a very contributing factor because sports has always, it grooms you to take it both. You loss as well as your win. When you win, it keeps you grounded. At a loss, it keeps you level-headed.
Right. Okay. So what happened in the case is very well documented, as you mentioned earlier. Everyone knows about what happened in the Bombay High Court and subsequently in the Supreme Court. So I will not go into too much of detail into the legal aspects. But I'm curious to know about Arvind Tiwari, the person beyond your sporting achievements. So I'll start with a personal question that when you decided to fight this case on behalf of your son and also many other students who were writing the ICSE and ISC examinations, did you have a chat with your son? Because I've seen, and this happens, that most people are a little apprehensive. If I take on the mighty system, will I get targeted? Will I kind of get, will the authorities not particularly appreciate it? So did you have a chat with your son and your family, and what was his reaction?
I remember, this process, I had not decided to file a PIL, the initial start. The decision happened to your specific question that I'll answer you on 28th of May.
Yes.
28th of May, when I received the response from the Prime Minister's office that my case is closed, and it was a very abrupt response that they gave, that it's a private independent body and you're supposed to, and you're directed to interact with them directly. So I just responded back again that in my complaint, I have specifically mentioned that I have written them 5 mails, and including the complaint which I have forwarded to the PMO, that I have marked them as CC. So if the greatest office, the biggest office in this country today says that, we cannot do something, that angers you. And that creates what, do we have any justice, or where do we go now if the most powerful office says no to you? So that is the time I said, now I think there is only one option left, that is the judiciary, because judiciary has always been known as a last sentence for getting justice and for protecting and securing the fundamental rights. So it
Absolutely.
was very clear that the fundamental rights of the children is going to be hampered, and we need to do something. And instead of waiting for someone else to start with it, why not me? Because I was an advocate, so I think I thought it was the right time that I should use my profession for something which is very just cause right now. And that decision was taken. Yes, I did speak to my son when I was writing mails to the board. See, he was a little apprehensive. Plus, a lot of his friends were telling him, "Ki your father is doing this, so probably you may get targeted sometime. You should not. You should tell this to your father." So he used to come to me. I said, "You don't bother about these things, and don't worry about marks." That is one thing which I always tell people and all parents, that never think about marks, because marks, yeah, unfortunately the education system is so bad. Everything is on your result and your marks. Absolutely. But in life you won't succeed with marks alone. I think somewhere down the line you should also have the feeling to stand up to injustice, and that is what I intended to teach my son, and has always been doing that. And he said something that I may get targeted, don't worry, I am there. Whatever it is, I am there.
On the day the Supreme Court, when the ICSE Council said in the Supreme Court that they're going to cancel in the examinations, so did you see, and did your son also see it as some kind of a vindication of sorts, that he felt proud of what his father had achieved?
See, that happened in Maharashtra for all parents. That happened on 24th of May itself, when the Maharashtra government was forced to respond very clearly after the direction of the Honorable Chief Justice on 22nd. And they were told, Maharashtra was told to give a specific response. On 24th, they had to respond. And they gave a response that they cannot give permission for the examinations to be conducted. So that all in Maharashtra, every student celebrated on 24th evening itself. So Supreme Court order came in very late, and it was like almost everything was very clear that the exams are in process for cancellation. So it moved in Maharashtra. The celebration or the vindication of the stand came on 24th evening itself, afternoon itself, when
so when you
Maharashtra's response was.
So when you look at the ICSE's council's response and the manner in which it kind of reacted to this PIL, both inside court and outside court, High Court as well as Supreme Court, do you think it has come out of this entire episode with its reputation intact, or reputation enhanced, or in some way dented? How do you see it as far as the council is concerned?
I very clearly see that their reputation is badly dented by the type of response they made, by the type of reactions they did, and also by the type of arguments they made in the court. And the manner they conducted itself is a very big question today. And I really sincerely feel, see, my child is going to be alumni of this board. I would always be happy if the board's image and reputation is intact. But unfortunately, I am really upset that they have not conducted itself. Instead of seeing me as an adversary, had they evaluated that I am a parent and I am just seeking justice. But unfortunately, they took the whole case as an adversarial case, and they were out to prove that there was something personal into it, there was something sinister into it. And in that process, the arguments that they made in the court made them vulnerable to even going beyond the purview of facts, and saying something like they went to an extent of even challenging the powers of the state government in giving them permission. So they tried to portray that there is some superior authority, and that is a cause of concern, because if the private institutions, like I now see it as in a larger picture, if the private institutions are going to be so abrasive and so arrogant in the dealing, then India is today moving towards privatization in every sphere and every. And education is the most important sector, which I feel the future generation gets, the whole background based on from what they learn in the education sector, and that is getting privatized.
Right.
And if that is not secured today, then somewhere there is a cause of concern for us. And ICSE board certainly has come out of this whole process in a very bad state. I would not say that it's in a very good state.
Yeah, because obviously now that the number of cases that are there, it would have been very difficult and very risky to conduct the examinations in the first 2 weeks of July. But what happens now? Now, on or before Friday, the council is expected to release its methodology. We'll not go into the intricacies of what the methodology would be, how would it be different from CBSE, etc., etc. But what you have been told by the High Court that you could have take legal remedy in case if you're not satisfied. Do you foresee yourself going back to the court, or do you think that chapter is now closed in a sense?
I have kept my options open, to be very frank, because when the point was that they have been evading the methodology, they have created this smoke.
Yes.
When they gave an option, they could have been very clear and transparent and fair and transparent. But with whatever motive they came out with the concept of pre-boards, that raised a lot of apprehensions. And that was brought before the court, and Bombay High Court was very insistent on asking for the methodology. But when the matter got transferred to Supreme Court and we managed to save our petition from getting disposed there, in fact, rather than admitted there, but Supreme Court had given a direction, and in the terms in their order allowed them 7 days. So that is a sphere where the High Court cannot go beyond, because Supreme Court is superior, that everyone knows.
Yes.
So Bombay High Court cannot go beyond what the Supreme Court has allowed. So when we brought this to the notice yesterday before the Honorable Chief Justice, that this aspect is still pending.
Yes.
He granted me liberty that you can take a stand, or you can file a fresh petition again if you feel aggrieved by it. But largely the feelers that I have been getting is the board is coming out with some methodology which should satisfy every parent's concern and every student's concern, is something which have been told by other people who are either connected with the board or with the teaching faculty or with this thing, that whatever is they have planned should satisfy. So I would rather wait and watch rather than commenting today. Yes, my options are open, certainly open. If there is something very adversarial, we'll certainly utilize that liberty that the court has granted.
But I mean, let me play devil's advocate. Now, from the point of view of the council, now someone from the council may argue that certain rights are vested in the council. Now, why should parents actually start dictating what methodology, what assessment formula should be employed? I mean, the council can always argue that, because that is, in a sense, parents like you are getting into the domain of the council. Isn't that the way the council will look at it?
See, they have stated they have stated this in the court itself, that this is something with the academics purview, and it should be left to us. But that thing is, that concerns everyone, and they have created a controversy by bringing in the concept of pre-boards. See, Maharashtra government was very clear on 12th March when they cancelled their own that one pending paper, and they said that we will give an average of the marks scored in the other papers. So they made that concept very clear. If you see the CBSE notification, it contained everything. If the CBSE can come out with the package where they have cancelled examinations, announced the pattern on which they are going to grade the students, and they're also announcing the date when the results are going to be announced. So I don't think ICSE should have gone beyond that and said, this is our private domain and we should not be questioned on it. Finally, we are living in a democratic country.
Absolutely.
So people have a right to know. And for a private sector, they need to understand better that instead we are not just parents or students. We are their customers as well. If you are a private sector and you are into business of education, then you should also treat us as a consumer. That is my argument.
Right.
And consumer has a right.
Yeah, my final question, Mr. Tiwari. Now, you of course are a lawyer, so it was easy for you to approach the courts. But for ordinary parents who do not understand the intricacies of the law, they do not understand the legal jargon, find the legal jargon rather intimidating. Isn't it rather unfortunate that judiciary becomes a last recourse instead of there being a dialogue between the council in this case and, as you say, the customers, the parents, the student community, that would have settled this issue in a far more amicable manner than the way it finally turned out?
See, the private institutions, they claim immunity in the constitution through minority clause that they have, and they are granted certain liberties. And that is really a cause of concern, because what has happened is they are more opaque rather than transparent. What people feel is that the government boards, they are bureaucratic, lethargic. But this pandemic and the disaster situation that has happened has in fact opened the eyes of every parent that though they are bureaucratic, lethargic, but they rose to the occasion and they are more interactive because they have finally the political class rules them. That is, the minister for MHRD in Delhi was speaking on their behalf.
Yes.
Education minister in Maharashtra was speaking for their behalf. But
Yes.
sadly, the board was not interacting. Not one, but I've written 5 mails and 1 mail marked as CC. So 6 mails goes unresponded. And in this whole process, 1 month, I've received so many mails, so many messages from students, so many from parents, other issues beyond the 10th and 12th.
Yeah.
And they are telling that we have been writing mails and they don't get any response. So something has to be done in, yes, parents, as an ordinary parent, it becomes a big problem thinking about going to judiciary because it involves a lot of dynamics. But
Yes.
I will also rather say there are a lot of scope in the judiciary wherein, and there is a lot of data also in the past that people written mails or written a letter to the Chief Justice also becomes a PIL. So in my own case, in this case, one of the students had sent a mail to the Chief Justice and that person was converted into an intervener. So I think every parent and every student, because they are going to be parents in future, should be aware of the rights and the fundamental rights and the procedures. Even a single mail on a genuine issue can be converted into a PIL by taking a suo motu cognizance by the judiciary. And
Absolutely.
that right is there and that option is available for every citizen. And I think everyone should be bold enough to exercise that right.
Right.
Finally, we want to set an example for our children and we want to have a future citizens to be very strong and very, they should be capable of taking care of themselves. And as a parent, I feel it's a moral duty
Yes.
to give that boldness to them rather than making them scared, timid, or submissive. So that is what I try to teach my child or so many children who comes to me, not only today, for last 4-5 years. Many
Yes.
children, they interact with me. I always tell them, never be submissive. Always be firm on your points. Be whatever. Even I tell them, you argue with me if you don't feel that whatever I'm saying is not correct.
Yes.
But you should have a point of view of yours.
And it's
You
also
should be
very
firm on
important to know your civics lessons very well so that I know all your fundamental rights, fundamental duties, so that you know what all is available to them under the Constitution, under the Indian Penal Code, etc. I see this, Arvind Tiwari ji, as a David versus Goliath fight. So more power to you. As you said, you have inspired a whole lot of students and parents, and they're all very thankful to you, not for kind of just getting the exams postponed, but also to show them that something like this is possible when a parent can actually afford to take on the system and get his point of view across. Thank you very much. More power to you. And you have been a great inspiration. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I am also thankful to all the parents for supporting this cause. And this is not an effort of only mine. There are so many people involved. So many people played a part into it. Yes. Silently played a part into it. And that whole thing brought this result. So there are so many silent players, and they really deserve a lot of comment.
In your state, of course, you have the lockdown extended till the 31st of July. So stay safe, stay home most of the times, avoid any crowded places. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.